You ever wish that you could control your emotions? Like you want joy when there's sorrow, you want peace when there's anger, passion when there's complacency. Well, most people don't realize this, but Jesus actually teaches a life hack on how you can control your emotions. And I don't have a ton of time to get to this, so let me set this idea up, and then I wanna go to the church and show you something there that kind of illustrates all this. So let's do this. So I first learned about this idea of how Jesus teaches that you can control your emotions in this book written by a guy named John Ortberg, where he's interviewing another pastor named Dallas Willard. And the concept in the book was just like really enlightening to me, and I'll draw out what they talk about. So here we go. All right, so it all starts with this idea of your soul. And it's not what you and I tend to think about with the soul, like this thing that floats away when you die. That's actually a Greek idea, not a Jewish idea. But in the Judaism that Jesus practiced, you don't have a soul, you are a soul. And what's cool is that in your soul is your body. And then in your body is your mind. And in your mind is your spirit or your heart. So you are a soul with a body, a mind, and a spirit. Or if you think about it, actions, thoughts, and desire. Or physical, mental, emotional. And this is where we start to see this life hack of how you and I can control our emotions. But first, we got to get to the church, so let's go. So in Western thought, that's you and me, we tend to think things work inside out, right? So what you think or what you feel in your heart leads your actions. We say things like put your mind to it, mind over matter, follow your heart, that sort of thing. But in Judaism, it's the other way around. It's outside in. What you experience in your body affects your heart and your mind way more than the other way around. And this sounds like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense, but think about it. If you're stuck in traffic on a 100-degree day and your air conditioning goes out, your body is physically feeling and experiencing something that is going to affect your thoughts and emotions. And it works in the positive way too, like if you're driving with the window down and a cool breeze comes through, all of a sudden you're feeling something and experiencing something in your body that affects your thoughts and your emotions. If you think about it, this is why car companies will like have advertising and commercials that promise if you drive their car and physically buy it and experience it with your body, you'll experience joy or happiness or whatever it might be. But me, I like my green minivan. I call it Tank. Anyway, so this idea of outside in took these familiar teachings of Jesus for me and completely flipped them on their head. Like when he says things like, where your heart treasure is, there your heart will be also. So give and let your money lead your heart. Or he says things like, give to the one who took from you. Physically give and you will experience peace instead of anger. Or he also says that your spirit is willing, but it's weaker than your flesh. By the way, here I am at, it looks like a strip mall. It is, but it's also my church. And what I want to show you is inside. So come on. But my favorite example of Jesus doing this comes on the night that he's arrested and betrayed. And it's like this festival meal that he's celebrating with his closest friends. And in the middle of all of this anxiety and all of this betrayal, he gives his disciples this meal and he tells them, do this physically with your body in remembrance of me. So again, what you experience with your body affects your heart and your mind. But then right after he says this to these disciples, he takes bread, he breaks it, and then he looks up and he physically gives thanks right there in the middle of all of that betrayal, all of that tension, and all that anxiety. He gives thanks for this meal. And when you look at this account from the lens of outside in, all of a sudden you see it again. Do with your body what you want to feel in your heart. Later on in that meal, Jesus talks with his disciples and he tells them how he has complete joy. And then a little bit later on, right before he's arrested, he kneels down in prayer in a garden and he tells his Father, Father, not what I will, but what you will. And all these amazing moments of contentment and peace that he has cannot be told separate from that meal a few hours earlier where he broke bread and physically gave thanks. What you do in your body, you feel in your hearts. And by the way, here's what I wanted to show you. This is a box of individually sealed communion cups and wafers. And here, let me open it real quick. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty cool? And inside of that is a wafer and then communion wine. And tonight, here at the church, in the middle of the coronavirus and this pandemic, we're going to have a drive-through communion because, you know, we've got to practice social distancing, all that stuff. But we want to do what Jesus commanded, saying, do this in remembrance of me, but also because we know it goes outside in. What we experience physically affects our mind and our hearts. So do with your body what you want to feel in your heart. Now, I got to put some traffic cones up. Let me put these up and then I'll finish the thought. So how does this all apply to you? Well, this does a couple things. One, all of a sudden the commands of Jesus are not about like forcing you to obey to certain things and wanting to be this great cosmic killjoy. Now the commands of Jesus are because he wants you to experience mentally and emotionally heavenly joy and peace here on earth. And then the second thing is to just remember that you are a soul. You don't have a soul, you are a soul. And what you do with your body, you will experience mentally and emotionally. So the question is, what do you want to feel? What emotion do you want to have? Do that physical action and you'll experience it. Do with your body what you want to feel in your heart. Thanks so much, guys. I've got a drive-through community service to get ready for. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.